You want to look at this next piece, brother?
Let's hit it. Oh, so good.
Thank you,
By the
brother.
way, for people who are listening on the podcast and aren't currently watching on YouTube, I'll make sure to provide some sort of link so you can get some sort of, even if low res version, so you can see what we're looking at. You can click in the show
Yeah,
notes or something like that.
this is one of my capstones in my career,
It's
and
incredible.
I plan to outdo this one, but I hope. I mean, but this was it's funny. Like what I have a couple of mentors, Jeff Huntington, um, world class muralist. Bill Newman was one of my mentors too. We all call it different things, like peak performance. That's what he calls it. Another one calls it your mojo. When things just
Flow.
line up, yeah, flow. Um, Things just line up perfectly, and it just comes out like butter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now this took me forever, but I never lost my endurance when I produced this over several months,
Mm-hmm.
and it just came together like it was my I had so much inspiration being attracted to this idea of archetypal aesthetic in history, and believe it or not, this was a same time frame as the previous Agony and Ecstasy. It's called, very presumptuously, I titled it All and Everything. Now, obviously, it is not all and everything, but
Right.
it felt like that for me to produce because it was this is an assiduous one in regards to labor and exercising my brain and focus. I got tired of quite a bit too. I mean, I was able to complete it at the rate that I planned to do so, but it was heavy mentally to produce this
Mm-hmm.
painting.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. I believe it. I mean, like, I'm looking at all the different representations of various pieces of art, the various statues that I recognize. There's Venus de Milo in there. You've got the Michelangelo's David, or at least a representation of it. Like
Yeah,
you had to absorb. You've got, I see a Buddha up there. You've got,
yeah,
how many different cultures are you working with? I think that's a dragon. You're working and I think, is that a lamb that's in the towards the
yes.
center? Yeah.
So all of the figures you named, there's nothing random about any of this.
Sure.
All the figures at the top are either celestial figures or things to be cherished and protected.
Okay.
And in the middle is where the polarity is being sort of in battle. The warriors, Beowulf, the medieval knights, the gods at war, and at the bottom is the underworld. We have Yamataka, Medusa. We have the double face incantation of female death. We have the phoenix, the Slavic phoenix in the bottom, kind of rising up, and all the way on the other side, above the phoenix, is a sword of Damocles. So these are all like really symbolically placed as a hierarchy, actually. And I did this on purpose, and I wanted to really convey that compositional awareness is connected to like psychological awareness, and I wanted to show that in a painting. And I've seen people do this in films, but I want to show that same illustration with the visual arts.
Mm-hmm. Wow. See, that single key to the image just opened up several new dimensions of appreciation for being able to look at it, to understand the hierarchy of, I guess, ascendance as you go up the painting.
Yes, brother.
That's great.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, this one was like, I've actually had several collectors contact me about this one, and I'm just holding off to sell it because I can tell that the value will go up, but I also can tell that, I mean, I'm telling you, this is a painting that, I mean, this is my baby, actually.
Sure, yeah, I see it on the wall behind you.
Yeah, that's right. This is my baby right here. This is I always leave this up here, and it's a big one too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan putting one of his Nike ads on his own wall to remind him of who he's capable of being, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm very vain.
I don't see that.
I'm just teasing. All right. This one is actually my most popular painting, though.
Okay.
This one is titled Apex. Can I read you a free writing exercise that we did on the council about this that Jeff Younger wrote?
Yes.
So, of course, my phone, I had it here ready, but of course it flips. Okay, it's pretty beautiful. I was touched it. The tiger is hungry. He thirsts from the long run. The prey, a large buck, stands unknowing, filling its belly with green grass. A spirit overtakes the tiger. His eyes burn bright. His lips curl and show his fangs as saliva drips down his chin. Practice for the death bite before he feasts. The spirit of the hunter fills the tiger's bones and heart. Ambush and ruthless exploitation of surprise. The samurai had never seen a tiger on the hunt. He was surprised, on horseback, to observe in the far distance the tiger moving low to the ground in the tall grass. As the killer approached the prey, the samurai saw him pause. He knew to reason. The spirit of the warrior had overtaken the tiger. Even at this distance, the tiger altered in spirit. His two sword fangs were unsheathed, and his eyes passively took in the prey, the true zanshin, the empty mind of the warrior. Boom.
Did you write that before painting this, or did you write this related to the painting, or how does it connect to the painting? I mean, obviously, but like for you.
Oh, no. I painted this as to sort of connect to my martial art roots and how that martial art practice really allowed me to enunciate my painting practice. And I was really attracted to this idea of putting all the great warriors and conquerors onto one canvas in conjunction to all the apex predators, from the grizzly bear above Wallace, the soaring hawk above the samurai, the killer whale above under Kim Yushin, all these different apex predators, to stack this massive warrior archetype onto a canvas, and I do all different archetypes. This one's the warrior one, and there's an attraction to it culturally today for a reason. And that poetic writing was done by Jeff Younger.
Oh, that's Jeff Younger's writing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not as sexy with my words, and I'm a visual thinker, right?
Sure.
But I wanted to share that because I think a poem can enunciate that aesthetic feel with the painting really well.
It makes sense. I was looking at this while you were reading that, and it makes sense to me why this would be your most popular painting, not just for the clarity of the figures in terms of, because they're all so distinct and they have their own space and one doesn't flow into the other, but the shape of the gestures is different. You have more feather, teardrop, oval kind of shapes, and less sort of square, I don't know, gestural mark making it. This looks more like like you've made each shape into an actual thing, as opposed to just striking the brush against. Like it's more intentional in that way, is how it comes across to me.
Yes. And I think people feel like movement associated with that. And I think that's the attraction, brother. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Well, I also noticed that you're really good with eyes. You've got this glowing eye thing going on. Like you're really good at like figuring out, like there was in the first one with the Mary and with the dragons, there was one little dragon in the lower right hand corner that had these glowing blue eyes, and so now you've got the glowing yellow eyes of the tiger and the glowing red eyes of the guy in the chainmail. Like
I mean, there's when you paint any kind of face, whether it's an animal or a human, the gaze, brother. Often I actually, it's funny because I often make central figures or when I want to draw the viewer's eye, I do that. I can do that with color theory. If you see a bucket of let's say you see a bucket of blue plastic balls, if I put one orange ball in there, where's your eye going to go?
Right.
The orange ball, it's all contrast, right? And that is a microcosm of what you can do with 100 different colors. But you can still guide the eye based on understanding color theory. So, but you can do that whilst also playing with the notion of the human gaze. So what I'll do often is the figure I want people to look at first strikingly, even if it's in the center, I can make a figure that's not on the center be the first one to look at by making all the other eyes flat, but that figure's eye is going to have the pupil there. So you kind of help with kind of look at like, that's someone looking at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's something that I played with often because especially if it's a wider horizontal canvas, I want them to not just look at it, and I can direct where I want them to start from. Speaking of which, the hierarchy earlier, and I can direct the viewer's eye. I can curate their emotions based on the composition that they're looking at, because that's where all the planning comes in, right?
And you're doing that intentionally. Like it's not an accident.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's check out this one, which is different because it's a one
Yeah.
central finger, but this is also a very popular one. And I had collectors internationally from Paris, Berlin, like Milan. They all wanted this painting. And for some time, I was